Welcome back, race fans. It's day number 2 of Thunderfest here at Wheatley, Ontario. Time for some quarter-mile action, but first, let's make our way around the pits. With a couple of heat races over and finals on their way, Rick Gumby is going to take the win in the Vet Series class, Rick being one of our older members. Now it's time for everybody's favorite time of the day here on the show. It's the Wascam Hot Lap. We got the number 98 machine, intermediate rider Trent Pickle, one of the local lads that come out here and rip around to take us out for our hot lap. Trent kind of working a little bit of a higher middle groove line. This is out in practice here today. Let's see what he comes across the line in. It's going to be a 19:03, but expect these times to drop as the day progresses. Erie Ramblers Motorcycle Club doing a great job on the track. Commercial break, be right back. Okay, our first race of the evening, the DTX Intermediate Class 18 riders. Now you're probably wondering why we skipped the interviews here today. It's because we have so much great action ready here to bring you for our half-hour web series show. So heading down into the first corner, already taken off. I believe that is Dallas Daniels hopping out up front, but Dustin Lambert getting a drive down on the inside, going up to that high line. Dallas Daniels protecting the inside line, holding off Dustin Brown, and the rest of the pack coming through. Dustin Lambert getting a great drive, heading back down into corner 1 and 2 here, right behind Dallas Daniels, followed up by Cody Marintet and Dustin Brown holding in that 3rd and 4th spot. So as the riders make their way back down the back straightaway here, Dallas Daniels taking over the lead, doing a great job. Dallas we spoke to earlier in the day, behind the scenes, likes what he's seeing out here with the Wheatley track, loves the deep kind of cushion feel of what would be like a half mile, but just compressed into a shorter circuit with a 3rd gear. So Dallas doing a great job holding off Dustin Lambert. Dustin doing a great job sitting in 2nd, followed up by Dustin Brown and Cody Marintet coming around the 4th spot. Now we do go to a red flag here. We had a rider go down. Just a simple drop. Tyler Brown, Dustin's older brother, just seemed to low side the bike. So Tyler goes back to the far back row. So here we go on the restart, heading back down to corner 1. Shane Corbeil getting a great drive, leading the pack around. Coming out of corner number 2, Dallas Daniels working the inside of Corbeil. Corbeil going to that middle groove line. Let's see if it pays off for him. Coming out of corner 3 and 4 here. Makes a little bit of a bobble mistake. That's going to send him back. Makes the door open for Dustin Brown and Cody Marintet. They move up on Corbeil, so they're sitting now in that 2nd and 3rd spot. Dallas Daniels takes the opportunity to try and check out for the rest of the pack here. And American rider number 69X, Coda Ronald, dumps it in corner 3 and 4. He's going to pick up his bike and head back down to the inside of the track there. Hopefully out of the way as Dallas comes back around the back straight here. Dallas gapping out over Dustin Brown, doing a great job. Cody Marintet's in that 3rd spot. Dustin Lambert made his way up to 5th, battling with Shane Corbeil, gets by him, and now he's knocking on Cody Marintet's door. So we're going to have a battle in the top 3 positions coming up here if Lambert can get a drive on Marintet, but it looks like Dallas Daniels stealing the show and starting to run away with it, gapping out over Dustin Brown, and Dustin gapping out over the 3rd spot between Marintet and Dustin Lambert. Another battle for 5th there between Corbeil, Belarus, and another rider. Couldn't catch him in the nick of time there. Dallas coming around on lap rider here, Tyler Brown. Didn't seem to have a setup working well for him right now. And Coda Ronald still trying to start that bike down there on the infield to get back on pace here and hopefully salvage whatever points he can get. But as the white flag is already out and the last of the riders are making their way around the track, it's going to be Dallas Daniels leading the charge here all the way to the checkered flag, followed by the number 91, Dustin Brown, and the third spot going to Cody Marantet, who gapped out over Dustin Lambert. So as Dallas goes out for his checkered flag, we're going to go to a quick commercial break and be right back. Okay, it's time for our second race of the day here. You can see Caitlin on that start-finish line. She's going to be heading back down to the inside of the track. She's got a cue card in her hand. Just let these riders know exactly how many laps they're going to be doing. Mike Alaska pointing to the green light, getting them all fired up and ready to go. Heading down into the first corner, Wensler's got a nice little drive. It looks like Costa there on the outside. He's going to be cutting down on Wensler, getting a drive on him, but it's Buchan that dives down on the inside of both of them. Buchan working that inside line, going to be doing everything he can not to let Coast get out of his sights. If you were watching the show from last night's event, the day one Thunderfest at Leamington, it was one heck of a ride that Coast put on over everybody else, but it was Buchan that put on a bigger ride, winning by half of a track in the DTX class. Now Coast working that high line, Buchan's kind of sitting in the middle groove there, Wensler following Buchan as they come around here to complete lap number 2. Seguin up almost into the boards here. Fast Freddy laying it down, heading back down into corner 1 and 2, taking a tumble, crawling off the track here. His bike is on the track. This is going to be bringing out a red flag, and we're going to be going to a full restart here, and the riders are going to get a new count from that lap card from Caitlin as they get updated on what is going to be going on here. Caitlin heading back down to the inside of the track, letting these guys know how many more laps that they got to do. Heading back down to the first corner, Chad Coast getting a good drive, leading the way. Buchan dancing with Parker Norris coming out of corner number 2 there. Coast kind of starts to check out a little bit from him. Buchan's now got to get around Parker Norris. Parker does a slide job on Buchan, heading back down the inside of corner 4. Buchan checks up on him, gets around him, and now he's got his sight set back on Coast. Heading back down the back straightaway. Coast already getting a good little lead going for him here. Out on that outside line, it's tricky because, you know, sometimes you can get a good strong drive off it, but other times you have to be very cautious. You can bobble a lot on that outside, lose your traction, and whoever's being smooth and silky on that inside, like Mr. Brody Buchan here, kid's run a million laps. He knows what the track's going to do, so he's just probably taking his time, sitting back there behind Coast and monitoring Coast, what he's doing for his line. So the battle for third between Wensler and Parker Norris is starting to heat up a little bit as Wensler's kind of creeping in behind Parker Norris. Right behind him, 3 other talented riders, Tyler Seguin, Dave Pouliot, and Braden Valley are battling it out for that 5th spot. So as Buchan and Coast start to gap out over the rest of the field here, Coast working that outside line, seems to have it figured out, kind of came through that corner nice and smooth. So we're going to be counting down the laps here, watching and seeing what happens. Wensler drifting back from Parker Norris. A 3-way battle for 5th between Seguin, Valley, and Pouliot. Seems to be the more interesting part of the race back there. And like we always say, these guys always battling for every position they can get and having fun in the mix of the race as well too. Buchan making up some ground on the inside of Coast, working that inside line. Coast kind of bobbling around again on the outside line. Buchan sitting right behind him, diving down on the inside corner of 1 and 2 here. Gonna look over his shoulder to make sure Coast didn't go down on the inside of him. Now Buchan's got to guard that inside line. Coming back down into corner 3 and 4 here. Buchan doing a great job. Coast trying to stay with him, goes and drifts a little bit wider Now we got 2 to go. Parker Norris sitting comfortably in that 3rd spot, but the battle for 5th seems to be the most interesting thing going on right now because Buckin is starting to creep away from Coase. Coase getting a little bit way too far out to the outside. As Buckin comes around, he's going to be taking that white flag. Coase has got only one more chance to make something happen as they head back down the back straightaway. The battle for 5th heating up as well too. Now it's going to be Buckin leading the charge back down to the checkered flag here. Gonna pop a little bit of a wheelie here for the crowd. So it's Buckin first, Coase second, and Parker Norris comfortably sitting in 3rd. Brody's going to go up for his victory lap. We're going to commercial break, and we'll be right back. Our second last race of the evening. It's the Open Intermediate. 16 riders. We are on board with Trent Pickle here. We're going to get a good glimpse of what exactly is going on in this crazy class. Coda Ronald pulling a big wheelie, heading down into that front straightaway there. Coming in around corner 1, you can see Trent. He is dealing with dust and riders absolutely everywhere. Corner 3, it's Dallas Daniels out front, followed by the number 91 machine of Dustin Brown. Tyler Brown sitting in that 4th spot. He's going to be doing everything he can to catch up to his little brother there. Rest of the riders making their way around the track here, completing lap number 1. On lap number 2, couple riders getting a little bit loose, but it almost looks like we got 4 wide heading into these corners. So it's going to be an interesting race all the way to the end. Dallas Daniels starting to check out over Dustin Brown a little bit. Dustin checking out over that 3rd spot as well too. These guys, nobody's going to be trying to let anybody get away. Jody Christie, that is sitting in that 3rd spot. He's now battling out with Tyler Brown. Brown goes way to the outside. Jody holding up that middle line. Brown getting a little bit loose. Jody takes advantage of this and dives down on the inside of him. Takes over that 3rd spot. Rest of the riders staying in a close pack. Jody pushing Tyler way up to the wall, doing a great job holding him off as well. As we head back down to corner 3 and 4, it's Bellarose. Bellarose goes into a high side. This brings out the red flag. We go to a single file restart. Oh, we got a couple riders getting off there a little early, but we are going to remain on the green as we head back down into corner 1. Dustin Brown leading the charge coming out of corner number 2 here. Dallas Daniels tucking right in behind him. Older brother Tyler Brown sitting in that 3rd spot, and Jody Christie sitting in 4th right behind Tyler. Tyler goes up a little bit wide, makes a mistake. This is going to be opening the door up for Jody as he's going to be trying to dive down the inside of him. But on the inside of his line, Cody Marentet, another local boy, we were talking to him about him last night on the Leamington half mile. He's doing a great job out here today, sitting in that top 5 position. Corbeil right behind him as well too. Tyler Brown getting a little bit loose up there on the high side. You can see Dustin Brown and Bellarose battling it out as well. Heading back down the back straightaway here, Dustin Brown with a comfortable lead over Dallas Daniels. Dallas going to be doing everything he can not to let him check out too far away from him. Jody Christie getting a good little drive coming out of the corner as well there too. So go as it goes 1, 2, and 3, heading down into our final lap here. Dustin Brown just has to hold off Dallas Daniels for one more corner. A huge lead over that 3rd position. Jody Christie and Cody Marentet going to be trying to battle it out all the way to the end. Cody trying to get a higher drive line. Doesn't seem to work, so Dustin Brown taking 1st, Dallas Daniels in 2nd, and Jody Christie sitting in that 3rd spot. Now as Dustin goes out for his victory lap, we're going to send the water trucks out, go to commercial break, but we'll be back. We got the 85cc class. Okay, like we said before, we're changing pace here. And before our final race of the day, we're going to show you the 85cc class. We got 6 riders here in our main event. And these young lads and young girls, you know, are the next generation of flat track racers. So we want to showcase you a little bit of talent from our smaller classes here in the 85cc, just to show you the range of talent of what's going on here with Flat Track Canada Racing. We do have 50 novice, intermediate, and expert racing, as well as ATV classes. So, you know, there's a lot going on here at our Flat Track Canada Racing events. If you haven't seen one yet, be sure to come out, because it doesn't matter what class, what age, what size of bike, there is always something to see that will amaze you at these events. Now, as we get back into the race here, you can see Boyd Demons leading over Hunter Bauer, Dylan BX sitting in that 3rd spot, and a couple of the other riders, Alyssa Lambert and Tyson McClellan, they are just drifting back ever so slightly, but it is just showing you that these kids are picking up the pace. They're starting to learn these things on these bikes, and how they'll react, relating it back to their parents, and their parents always doing a great job supporting them and helping them out. Hunter Bauer getting a little bit loose here as we come around for our final lap here in the 85cc main event. Boyd Demon working that outside line over Hunter Bauer. Hunter's got one more chance heading back down into the final corner here. Boyd Demon doing a great job protecting that inside line. Hunter getting a little bit sideways. Boyd's going to bring it right around to the checkered flag, taking the win here today. Dylan BX sitting in that 3rd spot, holding it down, going to finish up. Boyd Demon's going to go out for his victory lap, and as Boyd makes his way out on that victory lap, our open expert riders are making their way onto the track, so we were going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with all the action of our final race of the day. It's that time of the day. It's our open expert main event. 11 riders are going to be heading around this short course track. They're going to be banging bars. You can see the number 1 plate of Dougie Lawrence starting from that 2nd row, just going to be getting back into his groove here. 15 laps as Caitlin heads across. Steve Beatty timing the light perfectly. No red light, has come back out, so you know he hit it perfect. Heading down to the first corner here, Brandon Seguin sneaking up on the backside of Doug Lawrence there, checking his axle nut, making sure it's okay, and probably gives him a thumb up as they head back down the back straightaway here. Steve Beatty leading the charge on that KBR Framer bike. Dave Pouliot on the inside. Buchan making his way through the pack. We got 4 wide. Coast, Wensler, Buchan, and Pouliot coming out of corner number 4. Tons of action already as this race is just only getting started. Chad Coast working that outside line. Steve Beatty doing everything he can to hold the fort down here. Sitting in that middle groove, parking it right in front of Chad Coast. Brody working the inside. Beatty getting a little bit of a drive, coming out of the corner, pulling a wheelie. As you can see, Coast and Buchan now fighting back and forth for that 2nd spot. Coast trying to make a move on the high side of Beatty. Follows him in, almost runs into the back of him, has to correct. This opens the door for Buchan to try and get it past Coast. He tucks back in there behind Steve Beatty. 4th spot sitting, number 1 plate, Doug Lawrence. Going to be trying to get up in the mix of things here with our other 3 riders. Try and salvage some points. Beatty pushing Coast a little bit wide, getting into him a little bit, running into his foot. Doesn't seem to bother Coast much as they make their way around the track. Buchan down on that inside line. He's going to be trying to get by both of them. Buchan shutting the door on Coast, parking it right in front of him. Coast coming back in front of him, parking it right back in front of him. It's back and forth action with these top 3 riders. Buchan going up high. Coast sitting right behind Beatty. He's going to be trying to put a move on him. You can see Wensler and Parker Norris, they're battling for that 5th spot there, right behind Doug Lawrence. Beatty out to that middle groove. Buchan holding down the fort on the inside. Coast going way up wide. It seems to be working for everybody today, as all 3 of these riders are getting a great drive. And it's a battle for first if we've ever seen one. Buchan sticking down to the inside. Coast takes over the lead. We finally have a lead change, but it's Buchan getting by Beatty, and now we got a real battle on our hands. As you can see, Beatty's not going to be standing idly by to let these 2 young lads get by him. Buchan tucking right back in behind Coast here, as Beatty actually starting to drift back a little bit. This won't be the last of them. The guy's the Terminator. Buchan getting into Coast a little bit there. Coast giving him a little bit of love behind his back. Doug Lawrence sitting in that 4th spot. Buchan working the inside line on Coast. He knows it works. He got by him earlier today when he forced a mistake on Coast, setting him up high, as it seems to be working again. Beatty getting a little bit loose there. Doug Lawrence takes advantage of this and gets by him on lap number 9. Buchan sitting right behind Coast. Now Beatty on the outside of Lawrence. Those 2 battling it out for that 3rd spot. Lawrence on the inside of Beatty. These guys got a drag race going on. Coast sitting out wide on the outside of the track there. Buchan cutting down on the inside. Beatty gets by Lawrence. Not really sure what happened. Don't know if anyone made a mistake or someone just got a faster line going through the corner. Coast doing a great job sitting out front. Buchan hunting him down with the 2 vets of the class, chasing them both down, battling it out for that 3rd spot. But it seems to be Coast and Buchan starting to get away from these 2. Doug Lawrence and Steve Beatty almost going side by side, coming down to corner 3 and 4 here. Coast doing a great job of holding down the fort there in the front line. Oh, sorry about that. Chad Coast coming back down corner 3 and 4. Him and Buchan have now gapped out at least a couple seconds over that 3rd spot between Beatty and Lawrence. We got 2 to go here. Beatty getting a little bit of a drive, getting away from Doug Lawrence there. Buchan running out of time here. He's got to put some moves down. Coast going to the middle line, high line, getting a little bit loose. This is opening the door up for Buchan. Buchan right back onto his tailpipe. He knows he can get by him. He did it earlier today. So we got Buchan coming around on the inside of Coast. Going to be trying to force Coast wide. Coast does go wide, opens the door for Buchan, makes a mistake. Coast nowhere in sight now. Buchan's going to take the checkered flags. Chad Coast taking that 2nd spot. And Steve Beatty holding back Doug Lawrence to take the 3rd spot. Now Buchan's going to go up for his victory lap. We're going down to victory lane. We're going to have a chat with our top 3 riders.
Getting pretty used to seeing Steve Beatty up here on the podium. Now last night you had a good race. Finished off in, what was it, 2nd place, I believe?
Yep,
so
second in the dash, 2nd in the main last night.
Okay, so you do that. Ryan goes out today, wins his races, sees Dad go out, finish 3rd here in Wheatley today during the day race. Now, what happened in that race? Because there was just action going on everywhere. I seen Doug snuck up on you there. Tell us what went through your mind.
Yeah, it was busy, and I knew it would be. You know, Brody Buchan, he won both DTX and the Open today. He's got a bazillion laps on us around here. So you got to think he's one of the favorites. He's getting really quick, is a good guy. I build his suspension, so I give him the best, you know. So it's one of those deals. I know he's on the best bike. Kurt did the motor, and so, yeah, he was in my mind the contender. I nailed the light perfect, and, yeah, and I just kind of was riding my own race until Chad showed up, and then I tried to play a little defense. Then Brody got by, and I tried to move up where they were, and I just didn't have the gearing. I was running the bike right on the limit of being on the tight edge with the rev limiter. And the minute we moved the track up, made the track a little quicker, it was just wrapping the rev limiter like way back there. So I actually tried 4th gear, and that's when I really messed up, and Dougie went flying by, and I'm like, okay, I just got to go protect this and take home 3rd and not let Dougie beat me. And that's pretty much what we ended up having right there.
Fair enough. And Kurt, any words for your star riders here today?
Oh, yes, we got Ryan here. Just awesome. Good job, Ryan. Steve rode his wheels off the bike as usual. Sometimes you miss a setup, sometimes you don't. Today we didn't.
All right, okay, Steve, let's give a quick shout out to all those sponsors helping you out.
Yeah, Kurt Beeger Racing. Woody Kyle does the cylinder heads for us. Webcams supplies all the camshafts. My company, 26 Suspension, dials in all the suspension. Brian Olson Racing Services helps me out with tires and that kind of stuff, and I think Vortex is sprockets and handlebars.
All right, so taking that third spot out here in Wheatley for round number 5 at Thunderfest, Steve Beattie. And in that second spot out here today is none other than Chad Coase. Chad, you came off a big win last night out here in the half mile, coming out to the short track quarter mile at Wheatley here. What was kind of going through your head when you first saw the track at the start of the day, and then the conditions as it went through the process of all the track maintenance throughout the day?
Yeah, I'm a short tracker, so I love short tracks, and I knew it was going to be pretty exciting, and we tried actually 3 different bikes today and kind of stuck with what we knew, but it was fun. I was hoping to pull the sweep on the weekend, but Brody, he's got a million laps here, and he's the local kid, and man, he really runs good, and it was just a blast with Steve and him in the main event. We were just mixing it up, going at it, as hard as we could, and I finally got around him and kind of put a little bit on him, and I think I just burned it in a little bit too much that last lap, just kind of hoping he wasn't going to run up the inside of me and pull a slide job. So, that one was kind of on me. If I could have kept it a little lower, I think we would have had that one. And but no, hats off to Brody. He rode a great race, and just no fun getting past on the last lap, last turn. But other than that, it was a fun race, and overall, I'm happy with second. I think we rode good, so I think we were never off the podium all weekend, and it's good. And I just have to thank Don Taylor and Steel Racing for bringing me up here, and it was a blast, and it's an honor to ride for them. And you'll probably see me at some more races.
Well, I don't think I need to ask you any more questions. You just pretty much wrapped up the show for us right there. Okay, so that second spot out here today, taking the Thunder last night at the half mile, Chad Coase. Okay, taking that win out here at Wheatley today and claiming the Thunder for his own at his hometown track, Brody Buchan, the 49 machine on the KBR bike. Dude, awesome race. Last lap pass, tell us what was going through your mind.
Really, just like in the other main, I knew that the top was going to just kind of degrade and it wasn't going to have any of the traction anymore. So I was just kind of running in really hard, trying to get it squared up and shoot out, get a good drive down the straightaways. And I got an opportunity. Chad messed up a little bit coming in out of 2, and so I just thought, like, last lap, this is do or die. So I just kind of ran it in really hard, kind of slowed down a little bit just to block him, and managed to come across the finish line first.
Yeah, because this track, it was a couple different textures all day today. It was a little bit loose on the inside, and traditionally, the high line here kind of seems to work. I mean, what was your mentality going in? Were you staying down at the bottom? Were you going in the middle? Were you going high?
They just watered before we came out, so I was just going to kind of ride the middle since the water kind of tends to go down to the bottom. It was going to be a little slick, so I let it dry up a little bit before I hard charged down on the bottom. But up at the top, it's 66 feet wide for a short track, so going too high, it really makes your lap times fall. So, yeah, I just kind of, right from the beginning, I knew what I was going to do. I was just going to be patient, go right through the middle, maybe a little high one a couple times, made a couple mistakes, but for the majority of the race, I was just going to come in as hard as I could on the bottom, get it stopped, and then turn it.
Right on, Brody. Well, obviously, tons of people helping you out, so let's give some love to those sponsors.
Of course. I got to give a huge thanks to Kurt Beeger, Honda Canada. Super fast bikes. I can't thank them enough. I got to thank my mom and dad, 26 Suspension, 21 Outlaw Productions. I got to thank Aaron for putting on all these races, Hilda Franklin, Scott Wilkinson, Randy Friars, Matt and Michelle Phibbs, DJN's Graphic and Design, Chicken Hawk Racing. And if I forgot anyone, I'm sorry, but thank you. All the fans, everyone that came out to support the whole show, it's amazing. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so claiming the Thunder here on Sunday at the short track here in Wheatley, Brody Buchan, the number 49 KBR Honda